And we're live. Woohoo! And the more observant of you might have noticed that Christelle is not here this week, and that's because she's got a sore throat or something that's killed her voice off. So it's just me and Janine. And
Hello.
Janine. It's Janine, everybody.
Now, I think throat infections are going around. I had a chest infection last week.
Yeah, I know a few people who've lost their voice. So Janine is an amazing person. I keep running into her in conferences and the like. And yeah, I stole something from your LinkedIn page where it kind of hinted that you coach coaches. Now, is that a totally unfair statement? Put in better words what exactly you do.
Better words. Well, you've struck on controversy, Tim, actually, because some of my clients call me a coach, even though I'm not accredited. And some accredited coaches don't like people who aren't accredited calling themselves coaches. But what I do steps over the fence of consultancy into coaching a bit, because I'm not the sort of person who's going to say, oh, what worked for me is going to work for you, or I think this will work for you, even if that person, like, for instance, I wouldn't force people to use video marketing if they don't like it. It works for me because I love it. But if you're not into video and you really, really hate it, and there are other things that you're already doing that you really, really love and enjoy, do more of those things. Don't force yourself to do things that I tell you to do. So I do tend to use a more of a coaching approach with my clients. It's sort of, okay, what are your goals? How can we fit your work around your life? How can you, and I try and coax out. It's like, okay, I haven't done that piece of work. Why haven't you done it? Are there mindset things underneath it? So although I'm not an accredited coach and I'm not a pure coach at all, it's not purist consultancy or mentorship either. So that doesn't really answer your question, does it? Do I coach coaches?
Sometimes.
Sort of.
Okay, well, let's go back to the obvious question. Because we have all sorts of weirdos watch this show. He says destroying all thing, but we have people from a wide range of backgrounds. So some people might say, well, what is the difference between a coach and a consultant? I'm confused. And who accredits the coaches? Like, who is this accrediting person? I mean, how do you get accredited as a coach? And have you been blackballed from the Coaching Accreditation Society?
Right. My definition, I wanted to define for myself whether I was a coach or consultant a few years ago. So I wrote a really excellent blog called something like What's the Difference Between Coaching, Mentorship, Training and Consultancy? And my interpretation is a coach will draw out the path that the client needs to follow from themselves. So they're getting all the answers from themselves.
Yeah.
A consultant will say, oh, okay, I am trained in this area of expertise, and I advise you that these are the best strategies to get you where you want to go. A mentor will say, I've done this and I got the here. You want to follow the same path. I'll shortcut it for you and I'll share my learnings on the journey. And a trainer is more, a trainer's a bit simpler. So that's what I think. And that's why I think I'm a bit of a mixture of possibly all four, but, definitely mentor and, consultant and coach. Who accredits the coaches? There are accrediting bodies and they are not all created equal. And you can take a £99 course and get accredited as a coach, but a lot of accredited coaches would look down on that. If it's only taken you a weekend to be an accredited coach, that's not good enough. There are all singing, all dancing accreditation programs that includes supervision. So I think another thing about being an accredited coach is that you have a coach supervising you, and that you're constantly sort of keeping your skills up. So continuous, what do they call it? Continuous improvement.
Personal development.
That's it. CIPD. That's it. PPD. There are certain types of coaching that you would want your coach to be accredited to help you achieve that, like the more deep sort of mindset stuff.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Okay. So in your fluid consultant coach thing, what generally are the biggest problems that your clients mentees,
Stroke consultees.
Well, let's stop talking about stroking because that could get a bit weird. But your clients, let's say that. What is the biggest problem that you generally help them with? If it's like X person comes through the door and you never met them before, what is the most likely problem that you see people having that you help?
Okay. Excuse me. The conversation I have most frequently, and that lights my little eyeballs up because I love helping them with this, is they want to earn more. They feel like their messaging isn't cutting through.
Yeah.
They feel like they need to niche, maybe want to niche, don't want to niche, don't really know whether they've already niched, think they might have niched but haven't niched. So that element of have they been sharp enough with who they're targeting there's a bit of a question mark over that, which is leading them to have the messaging problems, which then leads them to have a main offer that is difficult to articulate why somebody should buy it and why it should be a must-have and buy now, which means that they can't charge enough because they can feel that the value isn't there. It's not being articulated, and then the client picks up on it, so they're not going to want to pay top dollar because they don't really get it and the messaging isn't clicking with them, which means that the marketing is difficult and the content creation is difficult, and deciding whether to show up on podcasts or whether to do speaking gigs, what topics and where and more. So that was a big long answer, but niching is a key one and messaging is very strongly linked to that. Okay,
well, let's jump into the whole niching thing. We've had Amy Kegler, who's a niche expert on sometime, probably a year ago, now. I mean, I lose track of time, to be honest. This show we interview, not speak. But would you say that it makes sense for most small business people to have a niche? And a niche, I'm going to explain to the audience, the wider audience, niche as in like something very specific to do the business on. Does it make sense for companies to have a niche? And how wide or narrow should that niche be? I mean, if it's like diaries in Esperanto or something, is that too narrow a niche? Or like, should they be going further, niching further to Esperanto diaries for people in Norway, sort of thing? What are your views on niching in general?
I have very strong views on niching.
Ooh.
I really well hate that word. I hate it. People don't know. None of us are talking about the same thing when we're talking about niching. You see new business owners being told they must niche. How can you niche when you've just set up your business and you haven't tried working with a variety of people yet? And then if you look at the big players in the entrepreneurial world, they're not niche in the slightest. Amy Porterfield, Marie Forleo, those big players, Gary Vaynerchuk, they're not niche, not in the slightest. What they've got clear on is the target market for each offer.
Yeah.
And what problem they are solving for that. So sometimes it's just the problem you need to be really niche on, if we must use that word, and not actually the person. And it's just everybody gets their knickers in a twist, and then I see posts saying, I don't niche and I'm proud because I work with people from all industries. Like, that's not what niching means anyway.
Yeah.
So often I get a sigh of relief from people when I explain my better approach,
okay,
which is get clear on your offers. Which offers do you like delivering that are profitable and that are relatively easy to sell at the moment? Don't complicate it too much. Start with just one. I start with one. My ideal clients, they haven't quite nailed their one-to-one offer yet.
Yeah.
Who is that for? What problem are you solving with that? And then get that clear, make sure it's selling, make sure it makes sense, and then you can add other offers. Whereas I see people like building upwards with like a value ladder. It's like, well, I ultimately want to sell this. So I'll do a little course, and then I'll do something a bit bigger, and then I'll do like a group program or a membership, and then I'll do my one-to-one thing because now I feel confident to sell it. But that's such a long way to go about it. How the hell are you going to earn enough money from that approach?
Yeah, we have agreement in the comments from Gabrielle.
Oh, Gabriella, love it.
All of this, so much confusion when I was setting out, and
It's sad, isn't it? It's the newbies that get it in the neck the most, and they run around. I mean, I had it. It was like, oh, I need to be niche, and all of my marketing training went out the window. It's like, no, how can you be? How can you be niche? And then I niched more last year, and it's been really painful.
yeah. So you're getting your niches in a twist, so to speak.
Oh, I like it. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned offers there. So, I mean, it's very easy, like in the whole world of online business, you get very used to talking about things like offers and funnels and all the rest of it. And there is a certain amount of language there, which is like, so some people are going to be saying, well, what is an offer? Like, why is it important that business people have a clear offering of what they provide or offers? Maybe this is really what people mean by niching. They're actually talking about definition of offers. But first, describe what an offer is. Like, if you're running a company, what are the offers? So,
yeah. So I'm going to take you back 7 years ago, if not more. And I decided to work for myself, and I was going through, I don't know, a massive wibble period where I was like, oh, I've forgotten all my marketing training. And I was following all the advice to be visible and turn up and be consistent and create content. And I was like, oh, I'm not actually making any money. What's going on? And I don't know what happened, but I don't know, lightning struck or something one day. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not actually putting an offer out. I'm not saying to people, if you're this person with this problem, I can help and buy this. So that is what an offer is. It's just like, it's an offer to help someone.
Yeah.
Which is how I like to think of selling. It's like, you're not pushing. Selling isn't pushing, it's inviting. It's like, is this you? Is this your problem? Because I got this thing. I've got this cream. I've got this pill. I've got this, whatever they want. This nice thing that will help you.
Yeah.
Some way.
Got another comment from Gabriella. I'm 3 years in and have more focus, but what I do is still broad.
Yeah. I got really focused last year. I'm 7 years in. Yeah. Some people do it much sooner, and, hats off to them. It can really help. But at the same time, you are cutting down your audience. So you've got to know that it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. So, one issue, because I'm 10 years in and I still have no idea what I'm doing, really. I've changed. I've done quite a few things, actually. I started off writing, I was writing time travel books when I started, and then ended up going on a whole big, wonderful, magical mystery tour journey through online business and the rest of it. But one question that I have, and a lot of other people have, is how soon or late in the process should people be looking to get outside help with things? So obviously, if you create an offer, you need to be able to communicate a problem to people. So should you be hiring like a copywriter to write that for you? Should you be getting a web developer to create a website for you? Should you be getting a typewriter somebody to type out your letters to the clients, or however you sell it? What's your view on how soon businesses should be starting using external sources, and should they be outsourcing? Should they have some sort of virtual assistant or something on those lines early on, or is that something that happens once you've got the offer sorted?
Oh, that's tricky. That's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, how long is a piece of string? The stuff that will really help them the most will probably be out of their budget.
Yeah.
And having said that, when I first started my business, I had inherited a little bit of money, and I invested it, £3,000, in a coach. It was too early for me.
Yeah.
Like, she was taking me, the stuff she took me through was good stuff. I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. Yeah. I didn't have the clarity. I hadn't worked with enough people. So, I'd be wary in investing a lot of money early on, because you're just not ready for that level of value or that level of learning. So, in an ideal world, you would stumble across an amazing DIY course that would just take you through the basics of whichever bit you wanted to do at any one time. But those things, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. You could, and then what's one person, how one person teaches, it might resonate, and another person would be trying to help you with the same thing, and it won't resonate, and that's not the fault of that person. So it's a real minefield. And I'm almost guilty. I am not guilty, but I'm almost feel guilty in saying I don't. That's why I don't help newbies, because they just haven't been around the block enough. They haven't had their fingers burned. They don't know what works for them. They don't. Sometimes I only knew how I like to work as an individual since running my own business, a few years into my business and having tons of coaching myself and having mindset coaches for myself. I have learned about myself and my personality. Like before starting a business, I didn't even realize I was creative, which is hilarious because I'm so creative. Like that's my issue. I've got too many ideas.
Yeah.
How did I not realize that? I was just stuffed in corporate doing my little job, was akin to a project manager in the marketing department.
Yeah.
Very little creativity in it.
So I had a great question lined up, which I've now forgotten because I'm old.
You're not as old as I am.
No, I had a nice segue. In the pre-chat, you mentioned something about a content community or something along those lines, which sounds like it might be the kind of thing that could help maybe new people. So
it's not community.
Okay.
It's a conversation forum. That sounds fun, doesn't it?
Sounds a bit thesaurus-ish. So what is a conversation forum? Is that
basically
not a community?
I've been working with Louise Miller.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Louise. I don't know whether you've met Louise, have you?
I may have done. I don't think so. But
Louise is the other half of my brain.
Okay.
So she came to me to work with me to define her offering and her positioning, because she was finding it difficult, quite rightly, because it is a bit weird. It's like a new thing that she does with people. And then as she was talking through her ideal client, I was like, oh my God, this is me. She's talking about these are the problems I have, and I didn't know this thing existed.
Yeah.
So then I was her client, and then as we've gone along, we help each other because she's really calm and methodical and systems focused and really good at taking ideas to fruition and coaching her clients. She's not going to like the word coaching either, but coaching her clients to actually getting stuff delivered, which is I'm really not a great completer finisher, and I help her with sort of more the vision, the ideas, and that kind of messaging stuff. And together we have realized that we share quite a few clients in common. Like if a client comes to me, I'm like, oh, you could also do with Louise. And if a client goes to her, she's like, well, you could also do with Janine. And one of the common problems, I feel like I'm talking a lot, but I will shut up in a minute. One of the common problems loads of people have is creating content. And everybody says, oh, you should be consistent. You should be consistent. You should be strategic, and you should do this and you should do that. And it sounds so simple. And I feel like most people know it by now. They sort of get it. There's really good resources and books to read about what exactly you should be doing. But actually, when it comes to actually creating it, we hit a wall. And I've hit the wall in the past because I'm just not a systems person. I hate saying that because I feel like I'm an organized person. I like being organized. But it's just doing something, committing to something and creating it every week makes me want to scream. That idea of just committing and being consistent and putting into place some kind of machine. Whereas Louise, her problem used to be she didn't know what content to create because she hadn't defined her positioning and her messaging. So what we want to do with the conversation forum is just get a few different personality types, a few different business people types, probably not newbies. Sorry, she said it might be for newbies. It's not. It's people who have had a crack at it and they're struggling with it. So we want them to come along and have a big old moan.
Yeah.
And we're going to be making notes. And then hopefully at the end of it, it's research for us. I mean, let's be frank. We want to put something together to help people who are struggling to get their content habit up and running.
So it's kind of like a focus group in a way.
Yeah, but if we think of anything, if people say stuff and then we've got resources we can share, we will share them, for free. But my process with people, it's the marketing process. Like, there's so many people who do similar things to me, and I'm like, yeah, they're doing exactly the same as me. And I brand it up. We all brand it up to sound jazzy and new and fresh. And I do have my own take. But Louise, I have never seen anybody work with people like Louise. She's a weird, strange, new creature.
Okay. Sounds like we should have her on the show then. Right,
Oh, you should. You'd have a lovely. She's so interesting. Like, she really. Some people try and call her like a productivity coach, and she hates it because people expect planners, hacks, time blocking, and that's not her approach at all.
Yeah. So, like, are there any kind of industries that you feel more comfortable coaching, consulting, mentoring people in, or do you think your skills are now sort of cross-industry applicable, so to speak?
Yeah, I'm reasonably agnostic as to the industry. I'm probably more comfortable with like a leadership coach than some kind of like holistic wellness coach. But I have worked with all sorts of coaches in the fitness, wellness, health, nutrition industry. I have worked with those people as well. But my background is corporate, so I am able to help people selling into corporates because I'm like, oh yeah, I get, I've got a ballpark of what they're willing to spend, and I understand the tricky bit of the tricky situation of who you're speaking to might be a gatekeeper and not actually the final buyer, and it is a bit unique selling into corporates and in that world. So I have had quite a few like leadership coaches and like team dynamic consultants and that kind of thing.
I think it's something that's often under talked about, actually, selling to what we call big corporations or big companies, because you could be a small company and sell to 3 or 4 big companies, and that would be enough.
Oh yeah, yeah.
People. Though obviously, I guess there are other issues with sort of selling to corporates.
Yeah, it's not a quick win. Like to really nail it, to get up and running really quickly with selling to corporates, ideally you would know loads of people who work in corporates. It's a lot about who you know, not what you know. So yeah, I've had clients before and we've been working together for quite a while, like months, and we're really getting some traction, and they're selling to individuals, and then they've suddenly said, oh no, I've decided to sell to corporates because the money's there. And it's like, well, the money is there, but it will take you a couple of years to get there.
Yeah.
So good luck. But what we've just worked on for 6 months has been for this audience, and that audience is completely different. The messaging will have to be different, the pricing, the way you're selling, the way you're marketing, like, even just being on LinkedIn. And I have clients regularly who are selling into people who are not on LinkedIn very often. They're there to update their CV information. That's when they're going to be on there. They're not on there every day like entrepreneurs are. So you've got to be realistic with what you're doing.
Okay, so that comes on to a nice question to build the last 5 minutes in the interview. What kind of proportion of time should a small entrepreneur be spending on these various sides of their business? I mean, obviously they've got to be doing whatever they're doing. So that could be like creating courses or one-to-one courses, going on social media, doing email marketing. What kind of proportion time-wise would you say is a good mix for a solopreneur or small business person?
I think if you can carve out a day a week from the get-go, that's really good. And if you're going to be on LinkedIn, I always say LinkedIn because that's my social media platform of choice. But if you're choosing to be on social media, put aside like at least half an hour a day.
Yeah.
Because it is about engaging and being there and not just the posting. But I think that would stand you in really, really good stead if you could have a day a week for, like, if you're going to create content or update your email marketing or work on your SEO or whatever, and then half an hour a day on social media. I think you'd be doing really, really well. And I think from a brain space point of view, just having a day when you know you're not going to be talking to clients is really, really nice.
Okay. I was expecting you to say that people were spending too long on social media, but it's kind of almost, it's more time than I would.
Well, it depends. Like, I was talking to a client the other day, and she's not a big social media person, and she's like, I just really like meeting people. I'm so good in person. I'm like, well, maybe try networking. You might not need to do hardly any social media. You could use that as just a brochure, which is not best practice for social media at all. She'll get zero engagement and reach, but it's just there for the people who she meets networking to see what she's all about and just read up about her a bit more. You don't have to do social media. It's just that's where I've chosen. That's where the majority of my clients hang out, and the channel that they've chosen to use. Yeah,
and you seem to be. You mentioned LinkedIn a few times. Is that your weapon of choice at the moment in terms of social media?
I've been on. LinkedIn's been my main weapon of choice for years now. It's my home. I enjoy it. I mean, that's the dream, isn't it? If you can actually find a marketing channel you enjoy, like you must enjoy this, do you?
Yeah.
You seem to be very good. It's very natural.
Yeah.
Very charismatic on the camera there, Tim.
Even though for some reason my webcam seems to be making me blue at the moment. I need to work out. There's probably some settings somewhere. I'm not this blue. I'm not turning into a Smurf, I have to tell you. So,
well, I can't complain because I'm looking very dark because it's dark outside, and usually I've got beautiful light coming from the lights. I'm not very well lit.
This January thing in the UK, it's terrible, isn't it? Anyway, thank you for being on the show today. How can people find out about you? Any other cool coaches, consultants, people you want to recommend, and the not community focus group thing that you're running on? Talk a bit about how people could join up with that if they wanted to.
So I've got the link to the community. Not the community, I'm saying it now. The focus group chat forum, let's have a moan about creating content here. Can I paste it in, or do I have to say it out loud?
Well, if you paste it in the private chat thing, then I can put it up, I think.
You are amazing.
Well,
there we go.
Presumably it works. Okay.
So sign up there. We'd love to have you, people who create content but finding it a bit tricky and they're fed up with it and they're wondering why it's not easier. If you could sign up there, that would be lovely. Thank you. And connect with me on LinkedIn. Just search for Janine Coombes and you will find me. Oh, thank you, Tim. And if you want to know what I'm doing, janinecoombes.co.uk.
Yeah. And I think if you scan the QR code, that will take you to the link to this page where I will put Janine's contact details.
Oh, thanks.
You can watch the show in the little window on the webpage as well, again, if you want to, or not. So
who wouldn't want to do that?
Well, exactly. And this is the focus group Moni talking about content thing. And hopefully you'll get some great results that will be able to help newbie people from that particular exercise. Yeah. Okay. Right. This is where I suddenly remember, I've got to press the outro button again. So thanks so much for being a guest. And
thank you. You're amazing.
I'll see you at some conference sometime this year, probably, I guess.
Yeah. But, I'll be at Tomicon and You Are the Media at the very least.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to both of them. So I shall see you then. Bye.
Be there. Bye. This is what God requires.